Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So, before we get started with the actual lab this week, I realized when I went to go to film this that there may be an issue when you go to create databases like we will in our PHPMyAdmin. So, you may get an error that looks something like this after you sign in using PHPMyAdmin. It'll say something like no privileges. You probably won't see this new button right here. It'll just not let you add any databases. You'll get a red text that looks like this, and you'll basically be dead in the water, which is a bad place to be. So we're going to fix this. It's actually using um, stuff very similar to this. So what's going to happen is we're going to start up a terminal shell. Um, During the secure MySQL installation, it gives very limited privileges to your PHPMyAdmin. So PHPMyAdmin goes through, it creates a user account called PHPMyAdmin. That's pretty much what every big piece of software does in Ubuntu or in Linux in general. They'll basically create a user by the name of whatever their software is, PHPMyAdmin, Apache, whatever, and um, they will give themselves certain privileges because you use sudo in order to install it, and anyway, so on and so forth. And it's lower than root, which is more secure, which is good in general. It can just be kind of a pain. And after much Googling and swearing, all of which was appropriate, I found out a 3-line solution, which is pretty neat. So what we're going to do is you're going to open up a terminal, open up a shell right here. It's a very quick fix, which is why I'm going to update the VM that's available on eCampus, but I would prefer you solve this yourself. It's really not that long. So you're going to do sudo. You have to have sudo permissions in order to access MySQL. I'm going to type in MySQL or MySQL right there. -u, which is the user flag. You can also do -user equals root. And we're going to go MySQL. So this last piece right here, this is the table that we're going, or the database that we're going to go into. You're going to put in your password. If you're using the VM that I provided, the password is CS230. It's the same thing as the username. So you're going to get a MySQL prompt right here. And what we're going to do is we are going to grant all privileges. We already have a user by the name of PHPMyAdmin. So there's a way to get all of their information. One sec. Okay. It is in all caps, so just turn on the caps lock for a bunch of this stuff. Show grants, and this is where you turn caps lock off. Sorry. After you do the for keyword, all of these words that you see in all caps, which you'll also be seeing when we do the PHP stuff, when we start creating our databases and when we start working with it for the sign up page that we're going to do for this lab. Those are all keywords in SQL, very similar to the keywords like public or int or things like that. Sorry, int is a class, but the word class, that's a keyword that can't be used for anything else. Show grants for, in single quotes, PHPMyAdmin. Close out the single quotes, at, open single quotes, local host. And then you're going to put a semicolon. So all SQL statements end with a semicolon, which should be very familiar to you Java people. Now it says that I have all privileges here. If yours does not look like this, which it probably doesn't, especially if you're using the VM that I gave you, what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to put, what is it? Grant all privileges on star, which is everything, to PHPMyAdmin at open quotes local host and the single quotes with grant option. All right, so it'll look something like this. Go ahead and pause the screen at this point if you need to. Grant all privileges on everything basically to PHPMyAdmin at localhost. Those two words are in single quotes with grant option and then a closing semicolon. Excuse me. You're gonna hit enter because you don't have this. I already do. And then you're gonna do flush privileges. And then after that's all said and done, you're gonna do exit. And you're gonna do sudo system ctl, and you're gonna restart Apache 2, and you're gonna restart MySQL. And when you go into, no one cares GitHub. You're gonna go localhost /PHPMyAdmin.